Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. This is Daniel, and I am not, unfortunately, with Aaron. He is back home, and he is sick, unfortunately. I hope he's not mad that I'm telling everybody this, but he should be back and better soon. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what I'm doing, what's going on out here. I am currently at the Wildlife Expo in South Carolina. I am at the beach, which is great. It's awesome. It's fun. It's been kind of crappy weather, but that hasn't stopped us yet from getting everything done. Quick update on kind of what's going on. Day one was a little shoddy. I did not have a class on day one. They did not have registration on day one. Or at least I may have gotten down there too late for day one to do the registration. So I did not get to see everything. And I was kind of lost walking around, but that didn't stop me from kind of poking my nose where I probably shouldn't have. So I got to see a little bit of everything still. Day two is when registration actually went down. I had my bird class. It looks like they have a follow-up bird class, which is kind of odd. I didn't know that. I was in the beginner bird class, which was cool. You take a little test at the end. They give you a certification. Everything works out. I mean, kind of the whole process is really cool. I'll do an episode on the bird class itself. I did pull a lot away from it. They gave me a book to keep up on those things. Most common bird pests, which was really cool to see. Some I'm going to be using quite a bit, especially with my companies that I have to implement some of this bird work, because there's a lot of money in it. There's a lot of growth that can happen because of it. Now, to have just a bird company, I do agree with one guy who is the CEO of Pest Pack or Serve Suite. I don't know what they're called anymore. But he did say something very, very interesting is one-off jobs do make you quite a bit of money. The problem is the recurring behind it. It's not there. It's non-existent. And so I think with the bird work and the bird jobs, it's definitely kind of a hit and miss when it comes to volume of work. And so you may have a big flow of workers come in and out, but implementing it into a pest control company that already exists and getting into the bird work world, I think is actually a really good idea. And I think it's really cool. I'm going to let you guys know how that goes, because we do have a ton of clients right now that do have issues with birds and definitely are looking to get stuff done. So it was a really good experience. And even if we didn't, or I said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to walk away, the knowledge that I gained behind that class to go to a job and actually see something now and tell somebody firsthand, or tell a client, hey, you know what, that person who does bird work is screwing you, or that person is doing the right job, is invaluable information. And so whether you're even into that or not, or you're not into wildlife, to be honest with you, you got to be doing rodents at some point. It's pest control. So you may not, maybe your business model is not that. So you may want to, not ever come to one of these, because it really is 100% focused on animals. The other cool thing is they did go off about ticks and different types of insects that attach themselves to birds, which was cool. And so that actually gave me some really good insight of what could possibly be introduced into a home or into a business because of birds. So that was really cool. But the main thing is going to be birds and bats on our side. And so good course, a lot of good information. I do think they need to break it up into a 3-day immersion class, because they did really well at identification, explaining habitats, going in more depth on certain things. But The very last, where it was actual control using a pellet gun and things like that, I do wish they would have dove in a little bit more heavily on that, and especially on the exclusion side of things. I think they just kind of hit it little by little throughout, but they never really dove into situations and really explain certain things. So I do think an 8-hour class is a little underrated, and underrated meaning they would need way more time to actually hit this on the head and get it done. Now, I will say, if you do have a head on your shoulders and a brain, bird work is actually surprisingly easy. And now this has come from someone who hasn't really done it before, so I could be wrong. But from everything they were saying, is birds are just like rats. The only difference is they fly. So really the methods of what we're doing is almost very similar to rodents. You just have to think of it as a bird. So I pulled a lot from that class, but I really molded it in with the knowledge I already had coming from just a regular pest technician, not a wildlife control operator, which was cool. So I already had a lot of that base knowledge, and I just kind of brought it over and kind of put a little spin to it. So I'm going to bring a lot back to my companies when I do head back home. Some of the other classes, so that was day 2, day 3, which we're on right now. They have some good classes. It is kind of broken up a little bit different. These are not paid classes. So day 1 and day 2 were paid classes. Day 3 and day 4 is Expo and just their little 1-hour classes, which you do get continuous education for. So the first 2 classes I took, I did get continuous education, which is great. So that's going to help me for my licenses coming to the end of this year that I have to renew. But also, I did get to go and walk through the Expo. Now, the Expo here, because it is a wildlife expo, it is very, very small, okay? So we're talking less than a quarter of what is at Pest World, which is still, it was still good. The cool thing is I got to expand my knowledge, especially for rodent exclusion. So if you are, or if you've heard past episodes on rodents, like rodent control, rodent exclusion, things like that, what's really cool is they did have a lot of material for rodent exclusion, and specifically for rats, mice, squirrels, things like that. And there's actually a few commercial buildings that we currently do with rodent issues that just gave me an essential in to get this stuff done. So I'm going to be quoting a lot of those out and getting this all set up as quickly as possible, because now I have some very quick and easy material that I can just purchase, and setup's very, very quick and easy up on the roof or wherever you're trying to cover. Even for homes, I have some really, really good stuff I'm going to bring into the home exclusion world that we take care of today. And it's going to be a massive thing, which is really cool. Guys, I can't tell you enough. I was dogging the wildlife a little bit between me and Aaron, just about how small it is. But I cannot hit on this enough, that education is so important. There's some guys here that, and I'll throw it out there. They look like bums, really. It's just definitely a different class of people out here. Not everybody, but there are some. And I'm telling you, I was thrown back in my seat on how knowledgeable they are. It's amazing to see what a true, when you're in it and you are passionate about it, the knowledge that you can gain and the connections you can gain from something so small like this. Now, the downfall of this expo is it is a little pricey. So just to get in with the 2 classes and the expo, I spent almost $1,000 just for that. Now, The hotel room, which was awesome, is super cheap. So for me being here for 9 days, 10 days, whatever it was, I only spent about $100 a day. So, to be here just for the expo, with lodging, remember, food is pretty much included. Breakfast, lunch, they do it the same as Pest World. So everything's included. So you're looking at max, unless you took all of the courses, which I don't think you need, but if you took all the courses, it would be probably around $2,000. But with what I took on the 2 classes plus the expo, food's included, I spent a little under $1,000 plus the room. You'd only be spending about $500 and then tickets to get out here. So really if you don't have $2,000 to spend or $2,000 saved up, you probably need to check your pricing on your company, because knowledge is literally priceless. There's not a number high enough that you can put on knowledge, because you're going to make that back tenfold. And just from the little bit I did pull from this expo, I will be implementing a ton of new things, and we are going to increase revenue massively over this year with all the new products and the new equipment and things like that we're going to start implementing. So I will give the expo, so far, I'm going to give it about a 7. There is some improvement. They do need organization a little bit better. It's not very organized, but the knowledge and the companies that they did bring in with the expo was pretty good. I think they could actually get a lot more involved and bring on a lot more people. I just don't know if it's advertised enough or if many people know about the Wildlife Expo, but it's good. I cannot shy away from it. I can't say that it's bad. The twists and mix that they throw on everything and they get you to look at things at a different angle is definitely worth the money that was spent to get here. And once again, it is a little bit more expensive than Pest World, but if you are stepping into the rodents, mice, rats, or even if you start looking to get to anything, outside of that, birds, you want to get into catching live animals, this is a great, great start. Now, a ton of people here are already experienced and have been doing it for years on end and work for big companies. So they already know what they're doing. But these people are willing to help. So, I got to walk through the expo and pick a few people's brains, ask them about what they would do in certain scenarios and situations. And, luckily, nobody was trying to hold any information back. It was all about you win, I win, so let's win together. And that's a really cool mentality, because at Pest World, you do get the very negative mentality of, it's me versus you, and not, hey, we're trying to grow as an organization, as pest control operators or wildlife operators. Here wildlife operators want to grow together, where pest control operators want to cut each other down. Because I think if I cut you down, I get your business. And that's not always how it goes, especially if you're a very low quality tech. You don't get that business, somebody else does, because you suck. And so the thing is we have to help each other grow and become better. But this is definitely a place where I've felt that so far. I have not gone into day 4 and day 5 yet. So we will see how those days come up. I do plan on throwing out another episode on just the bird class, because I think that is so cool. And very crucial. I think it is good information for anybody who does want to eventually get into it. The reoccurring behind it is the sucky part. And that's what I'm going to have to break down and see, where is the reoccurring revenue, because that's where pest control companies, and that's really where we can, get our freedom. Everybody out there who's starting to get into the pest control world, or starting your own company, the idea of starting your company should never be I'm going to get into it just to work or to do a good job. That should always be there. That should have never been the purpose of it. The real purpose is to bring freedom so that you can start doing what you love. And that's what I've seen. A lot of these guys who've invented certain things, they got into the industry for those reasons, and the passion behind it got them thinking and then created products for us that we're using today. And so that's the really cool thing. But get into it, get passionate about it. I am going to throw out that bird class, and then I will throw out the rodent class probably early next week, because Friday is the rodent class, and it's an 8-hour class. So we'll see how it compares to the West Coast Rodent Academy, and that they also have an East Coast Rodent Academy. Look them up if you are in the rodents, because that is actually 3 days of full immersion, 8 hours a day, jumping in it very, very deep and figuring everything out, which is really, really cool. Sending Aaron and another guy there to go learn about rodents and how to take care of them. So that one I do recommend for anybody. That one is a little pricey, but for the 3 days of full immersion, man, the knowledge you guys are going to get walking out of that is going to be phenomenal. Now, you couple that in with this Wildlife Expo, and all the exclusion, products they have out in the market now today. Oh my gosh. You would be a beast of a company walking into it. Now, there's still some things that I'm going to have to get myself into, which will be fun. I'm going to have to figure out the workaround around that. But they've definitely opened up my head, my mind, my brain to really think about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and how I can bring the next level into this game. And that next level is really going to start disrupting even the companies, the local companies that I'm competing with, which, if you've listened to me, I don't look at me competing with anybody, because it's all based off of you. You are you, and no one can be you. So the quality of work that we're going to start bringing, and the quality of exclusion work we're going to bring, is really going to start killing a lot of these companies, and we're probably going to take a lot of their work, which is awesome. Once again, I can't say that that's, we'll see what really happens, but the knowledge I just gained from these 3 days, has changed a lot of stuff that we're going to implement tomorrow. And the key, for all the new business owners out there, we've been actually answering some of your messages on Instagram and emails and things like that, is you're starting a new company, you're getting into this, those are really the things that are going to set you apart. Just because you know how to spray a home, just because you know how to take care or trap rodents, doesn't mean you're the best company or you're the best choice. There's so many other factors, and knowledge is really, really a crucial piece behind that. If there's anything I could throw out there to any new business owner who's getting into the industry, is educate, educate, educate. Do not shy away from education. Just because you didn't graduate, or just because someone boasts on social media, they didn't study at college, they didn't, they were high school dropouts, but look at them now. It's because they kept educating themselves on what to do and how to do things. So if you guys haven't been to an expo, if you have not been to any of these courses, you haven't even tried, look into it, start saving, jump on it. But this is just a little quick message I want to throw out to you guys, that I'm here, it's going good, and get ready for more content as the day goes on, and just be ready for these episodes. We are going to drop out multiple episodes. They are going to be sporadic due to all the content that I am getting from this. But get ready. It's going to come out here. And I hope you guys can learn a lot from it. And I hope I can help you out. The other thing is ask me questions. If you guys have any questions out there, we do have an admin who's taken over the Instagram and our email. Reach out to me. Reach out to them. They're going to take care of all that. I may be messaging you directly as well if it's more of a tech question and things like that. But ask us questions. I'm out here, I'm at the Expo. Ask away. I'm here to give you all that info so that you know what you're going to get into when you come out to one of these. Because a big fear sometimes is we don't know what we're getting into, and so we fear that unknown. And we all had to go through it. I had to go through it on my first Pest World. I had to go through it here. I'm literally walking around with, like a chicken with its head cut off. I have no idea what I'm looking for. There's no registration. There's no signs up saying where to register, where the classes are, what to do. And so I'm literally walking around asking people questions, figuring it out, and I'm bringing that information to you guys. So ask away. Please feel free to contact me directly. Remember, Instagram at DNA Pest Podcast. Also email at dnapestpodcast@gmail.com. And then you can always look us up on our website at dnapestpodcast.com. All right, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I'm excited to give you all the info that I'm going to get so that you guys can learn that knowledge and grow from it. But also, don't just take my word for it. Come out to these expos, gain this knowledge on your own, grow from it, connect with people, and really grow who you are. Thanks for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.